Hey, I'm Max, and today I will show you how to save and load data in your Unity game. So as an example, I'll use this project right here from my how to customize a character video, where I can change the mouth, the hair, the eyes, the shirt, and the shoes of my character, and also the body color. But let's say I change the mouth to this and the eyes to this, and I close the game, and then I run it again. You can see the character is back to default. So let's create a little script so you can save the data and load it back. So go into your scripts folder, create a C# script and call it something like save manager. Now in here we will actually need to use Unity Engine, and we will also need to use system.io so we can write the file. We also need using system.runtime.serialization because we will need to serialize our classes. Don't worry, I'll explain it. And we also need using system.runtime.serialization.formatter.binary because we will use the binary formatter. Okay, so first off we need to create one class that is serializable with all our data. What does serializable mean? A class is serializable if all its components are also serializable, and for something to be serializable it needs to be from the coding language directly. So for example, ints, bool, floats work. So we need to transfer all our data into serializable fields like bool, floats, and stuff like that. So for example, if you have a list, you have to transfer it into an array. So first off, what we'll do is create a public class data, and we want to set this class as serializable so we can save it. So you just go above the class, you do the little brackets, and you do system.serializable. And now the class is going to be serializable as long as we put the good stuff in. So in my case, since I want to save the state of the character, I only need to save the index for each part, like the body color, the hair, the eyes, and all that stuff. So over here in the data, I only need to create an int for each of the index I have. And I'll set it as public. In fact, if I want to save space, I can even do a public int array and call it indexes. And over here, I'll just do public data for the constructor, and I'll go fetch all my indexes from my other script. So over here in my other script I have all my indexes, and what I'll do here is do a public int array get indexes, and over here I'll just create a int array, call it indexes equals to body color, hair index, eyes index, mouth index, shirt index, and my legs index. And I'll return my indexes right here. So obviously in your game that's probably not the only thing you want to save, and this might not be even the thing that you need to save, but you just put into data here whatever you want to save and make sure it's ints, floats, bool, and basic stuff like this. You don't want to add, for example, a public list or something. I don't have the list using right now, but you don't want to import a list or a vector2 or a game object. That's not going to work. So if, for example, you want to save a game object, you actually want to save the position as 2 floats or 3 floats actually. So now in my data constructor, I'll do int array indexes, and in my constructor, I'll do this.indexes equals indexes. Now here I'll do my save data, which is going to create a file with the binary formatter. It's going to format my data class here into a file. So I'll do a public static. I'll make it static so we can get it from everywhere. Save data, binary formatter goes to new binary formatter, so we'll get the binary formatter, an instance of it at least. Then we will create the file stream. So file stream file equals to new file stream, and now we need to put the path. So I'll just do application dot persistent data path, which is a data path that's going to stay the same. So no matter where the application is run from, the persistent data path is going to be the same. And I'll just add a plus slash, and then I'll call it save dot whatever you want. So whatever, I guess I'll call it the XD. And then the file mode, which is going to be create. Now here I'll do data or data, and I'll do equals to new data, and I'll do find object of type tutorial dot get indexes. So over here you just get whatever data you need for your class. I'm showing you how to save, but you have to know what to save, right? And then you'll simply use the formatter to serialize your file with your data. And then you need to remember to close your file, so file.close, to make sure it doesn't stay open in the project, which is going to cause some errors. So now if we call this, it's going to create a save file with our data inside, but we don't have anything to load it yet. So let's do this. We'll do public static void load data. Now we'll create a path for where we want to get the data, so it's the same thing, application %tab with the save. If you have, let's say, an RPG with multiple characters, you can do here, instead of save, you can put the name of the character, so you can load and save different characters with different files. So here what we'll do is, if the file doesn't exist, so we'll do if not file.exist at the path, we'll do debug.log file not created yet, something like that, because that means it's the first time we run it, so there's no file yet. And we'll return because there's nothing to load, there's no save file yet. And if the file exists, we will do pretty much the same thing, so binary formatter, formatter equals to new binary formatter, and pretty much the same thing, file stream, file equals to new file stream, add the path that we chose, and we'll do file mode, this time open instead of create. Then we'll create a data pointer. And just to make sure that there's no error when loading the save file, we'll do a try and catch. So if there is an error, we'll do catch exception E. And in here, actually it's a serialization exception. So serialization exception. And we'll do debug.log error. So it logs it as an error. And we'll do error loading save plus e.stacktrace, yep. And let's not forget at the end to do file.close once again, so we'll do it right now to not forget it. Now here we'll try to set the data and see if we get an error, so we'll do formatter.deserialize this time, the file, but it doesn't know what type of file it is, what type of data there's inside, so we'll do data, cast it to data so they know what kind of class it is. And then if it works, all we have to do is set each body parts to the data that we have saved. So once you have your data loaded from your file, you pretty much just need to set all the values in your game so that it matches what you have in the data. So in my case, I take all my indexes and change the body color and the air and everything to the data we have. Also, since our save manager is static, as you can see here, we have save and load as static. We can go in any class and call save manager.save data or load data. So here, as you can see, I've done two quick little functions to save and load, and I hooked up two buttons that call the save and load functions. So for me, the application persistent data path here is actually in my app data local low, and then its default company, because I didn't put a company for this project. So you can see here the folder is empty, and if I load it up, so if I change the character from default and I click save, you can see it creates a file right here. And now if I close the game and open it back up, you'll see that it's back to default, and if I hit load, it loads it back up. Thanks for watching this Unity tutorial. Hopefully you enjoy and it was clear enough. Check out my other videos if you want some other tutorials, and subscribe if you want.